Hi guys, welcome to our third class. Last week we worked on these simple massing elements. So today we're going to work on some massing that are a bit more complex. Just to have a quick recap, let's make a quick simple dovetail joint so you get back into what we were doing last week. Okay, you go to your level 1. In case you go to your level 1, you don't see your massing elements. You just have to go to massing and site, and then you turn on massing, then your element will be visible. Okay, so we want to create an in-place mass. We're gonna use the line tool. We're gonna leave this to set to draw on work plane, this one, and then make sure here placement plane is level 1, right? So in here, let's make a piece of timber like we were doing last week. Maybe this one is a bit larger today. So right now it's at 360 and then the length is 320. Okay, so 360 by 320. Let's use the line tool, make sure it's set to draw on plane again, and then placement plane level 1. Okay, so let's start by making maybe something like this. Okay, at 110 degrees. Okay, the length is 45 as you can see, and then I'm going to make, maybe this is 40. Okay, I'm just going to make half of it. I'm going to make a straight line, and then I'm going to copy these three. Okay, this Z element, if you want I can give you the angle here, if you 70, and then here should be 70 also, right? So pick these three. Okay, 1, 2, and 3, and then we're gonna mirror it using this line. Okay, mirror this side. You can delete this. I'm going to delete one of these two lines, so just delete one, and then extend this one so it connects back to this. Okay, I did this because if these were two small separate lines, when you create the massing, there'll be a line in the middle, which we don't want. Okay, so now once you have this, okay, you can delete this line. Select these 1, 2, 3 lines. Okay, 4. Sorry, these 4 lines. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you want to copy them using CU. Okay, CU, copy, or you can pick the tool here. Once you do, make sure multiple is on. Okay, then you want to make a few copies. Right. Let's copy this small line also. So select this one, press copy again, CU, pick this side, place it here, right? And then this line we're gonna drag it to the end here. So you'll have something like this, which you can select, create form, solid form, right? If you go to your 3D, okay, don't make it too thick. I'm going to make it around 80. Which I think is okay for me, works fine. I'm going to finish it. Right, if I rotate around it, you can see it is something like this. Okay. Before, let's just measure something. So pick align dimension. Let's measure this so we have an idea. Okay, this is 320. So let's go back to massing and site, in place mass. Okay. We're going to use line tool, make sure it's set to draw on work plane, this one, and then it's at level 1. Right. So now we're going to measure 320. You can type 320. Okay. And then here same, we're going to do 320, and then we are going to close this part. Right. Now we can just trace out. Okay, instead of picking lines and then setting the work plane, we can just trace this out quickly. It should be fairly quick to do. Okay, so now you have this shape. Select it, create form, solid form. Go back to your 3D. Just make sure they are the same height, which was 80. So 80, 80. Once you do, you click on finish. You'll have your joint thing, right? So you should have something like this. Okay, my one, I think the material is a bit off, so I'm just going to adjust this to maybe it was wood. Yeah, I think it was this one, wood, so I'm just going to use this. Okay, finish. Same for this. Pick this, and then wood. Right. So now you have these two. Again, we're gonna use the displacement tool one more time. So I'm just gonna leave this. Right. Make the path. This one, the path will be a bit more complicated. Right. So try to make them as best as you can. Right, you might miss a few, then you can always go back and then make them. Right. So you should have it quite easy to make by this week. Okay, let's go back to our massing and site. In place mass, give it a name. Let's make a rectangle first. Let's say we're gonna do this at 450 for this. The width, let's do maybe 240. Okay, so 450 by 240. We have something like this. Okay, I think I'm gonna make it a bit thinner, so maybe 200, so it looks decent and nice. So pick this, create form, solid form. We will leave this at 120. Okay, this is okay. Let's make our cutout. Once you've done this, let's make a cutout. So let's do something like this, and this. Now we have this triangle. Okay, so we have this. Select your triangle, create form, void form. Okay, so for this one, let's do the cutout at 40. So we have one piece cut down at the base. Let's make a new triangle. So pick lines, set work plane, pick the top. Again, let's go on top. Let's do pick lines. Okay, should be okay. Set work plane. Let's set it to the top. I'm going to pick this, and this. Rotate it so we can see what's happening. Trim it, TR, trim, pick this and this. So we have our triangle, create form, void form. Okay, set it to 40. So we have something like this, right? That you have that part extruded here. Let's make the second piece that will fit this one. Just finish this mass. Massing and site, in place mass again. Right, let's do line, set work plane. Let's set it to level 1. Okay, no need to change it. Let's set it to level 1. Go back here. And then let's do this part. Okay, let's make this part a bit longer, so maybe 400 for this. And then let's do 280. Let's come to the end here, and then okay, let me cut this first. Right, let's do the full shape, because if we add the part instead of making a void, what's gonna happen is there's be extra lines, so we don't want to have extra lines. Let's make a solid form, align this top to this one. Right, so now we just have to cut out that part for the triangle in this one. Right, so the triangle part, we just have to cut it out. To do that, let's do pick lines, set work plane. Let's set it to the base here. Pick lines, this, and this. Just trim it, trim. Okay, trim all the lines. Pick this one, create form, void form. Okay, change this to 4D. Now we have both this one with a hole and then the other one with a extruding part. Sorry. Let's make our dowel for this. Select it. Let's use this one. Find the center. So here and then here. Okay, make your dowel. Then, as usual, delete these extra lines. Pick this, create form, void form. So let's cut it all the way to the top, and then let's pick the base here and then cut it through all the way. Right, so it's at the base we have the void that's cutting this right part. Let's make the dowel next. So finish this, make the dowel. So again, massing inside, in place mass, right? Pick this, set the plane, pick lines first, set the plane. Let's set it to the base. Okay, so this one. Now we're gonna pick the lines. Escape, select this, create form, solid form this time. Okay, just drag this all the way until it snaps. So now we have our dowel. Let's make the hole for this one. Edit in place, pick lines, set the work plane. Let's set it to the bottom here, and then pick lines. We have our circle, create form, void form. Don't make it too tall. Okay, until it snaps. Let's adjust this to here, and then this one to the base. See, pick this and then snap it to that base. Right? Just always pick cut. Try the opposite. So pick this and then this. Then it should be fine. Right, so we have our dowel and then these two pieces of wood. Okay, so for this one, the better displacement to do is pull this to the right. So you pick this, drag this to the right. Okay, so you have something like this, and then for your dowel you want to move it up, so all three are visible. Okay, set to your default angle and then pick your displacement lines. So this, you want to have this, the bottom, here. Okay, and then your dowel will come in like this. Right? If you cannot access any other lines, you can always, rotate them and then, add in the lines that you need. So here and here. Go back to the default and you should have all of this. So for the next one, what we can do is let's try something different that you haven't done so far. Okay, so massing inside, in place mass, pick this. Let's add maybe something here, 180 by 180. Right, make sure you're drawing on level 1. And then go to this. So south, let's make it in 3D first. Solid form. Okay, the height, let's do 1002. I'm going to pick an edge, and then I'm going to open the south elevation. So I have that edge picked. I'm going to lower this. So if you look at it in 3D, you're going to have something slanted, right? So go to this. Let's make a new shape. Okay, masking and site, in place mask. Okay, let's create shape, pick a plane, set it to this. Let's make this 180, make it aligned. First draw this one, the small one, and then align it. Okay, let's do 1004, this, and then pick this small one, drag it, close it. If you finish, oops, before I finish, create form, solid form, go to 3D, make sure they are the same size, and then finish it. So you have one straight and one slanted. Now we will use something called a sweep, right? So go to your south elevation, architecture, component, model in place. In here you want to pick generic models. Okay, that's okay. Give it a name, I'll leave it at default. In here, create something called a reference line. Pick your line. It's going to ask you to pick a plane. Press OK. Let's pick this plane. Make something at maybe 180. And then here also we will do 180. So you have these two green lines, which we will leave for now. Here you go to create. You want to create a sweep. We will pick path. Okay, this tool. Pick the path. Pick your green lines, which is this. Once you've done this, you can just pick finish. Then next you want to click edit profile. It will ask you to go to a floor plan. So we will pick level 1. We are here at the moment. Okay, if you look at it in 3D, we are somewhere here. Okay, so you understand what is happening. I will find the midway here. Right, so the midway. Next, I'm going to just draw this, a round shape. Pick line. We will offset 20. So one here and one here. I will delete the middle one. Drag this here and this one here. Drag this all the way to 20. Same for this. Then we want to pick line again, offset 20. Right, so pick the small line. Okay, you might have duplicates, so let's do these first. Okay, the last one you can just draw it manually. If not, you will have to do a lot of trimming and stuff. So just make it like this. It just goes around that column thing that we did. Right, so if you go to 3D, you can see we have this. And then if you press finish, finish again, we have some kind of bracing. Okay, some metal bracket if you wish. Let's say you want to cut out the holes for anything that you have. Maybe you have screws that go in there, or so in here you can just pick any tool. So I'm going to pick an extrusion. Go back to the elevation, set your work plane, pick a plane. I'm going to pick this, and then I'm going to draw a circle from here. Let me find the center for both. Okay, so this is the center. Make your extrusion, so it cannot be this big, it needs to be smaller, so maybe 10, and then we can delete these. If the lines are too thick, you can always use this. Okay, so let's make a copy of this. Let's make one this side now. So copy, pick your circle, drag it, picking the wrong one, pick the center, place it somewhere here. So now we have these three. Go to your 3D. Right, so you have your 3 holes that go through this thing. Yeah. So you can just finish this. You can save your project as you wish. Then you know, same thing if you want to model, you know, like the bolts or. Okay, let's try to model a bolt together and see how it works. So model in place. Same thing, we will pick generic models. Okay, and then usually okay, bolts, usually there will be a blend, right, between like circular to octagon. So let's do the polygon, sorry. So let's do the polygon first. Let's set the plane, pick a plane, this one, make this, and then let's find the center to make our polygon. Right, so pick your polygon, make it a bit bigger than this, right, and then delete. Let's not delete the center yet. Right, so let's do edit top now. Okay, continue, because we have these in the middle. So let's delete this, edit top. So now the top part, let's make a circle, let's pick line, let's pick this. Right, if you go to 3D, we have these two, and then if you click finish, it will make something weird. So maybe here. So it looks like a bolt, right? And then we can add in the part, you know, the extrusion part here. So just fill in the extrusion. Same principle, just to show you how it works. Set, pick a plane. Let's pick this. Go to south. And always pick lines. It's easier for this exercise, and then click finish. You have your extrusion. Drag it to the bolt, drag this side, okay. And then you can add in, you know, the rest of the bolts. Yeah, make sure you add the rest of the bolts by yourself, and then the other side as well. Okay, that's one more joint. Let's work on something else. Another joint that we can do is like some metal brackets that we can make. Okay, let's try to do one of these. Let's go to level 1. Let me delete this. Right, if you don't see your massing, again, like I said, you just have to turn them on. Then you'll be able to see them. Okay, next thing, let's do in place as usual. Let's make a column, maybe like we did earlier, so 180 by 180. Right. So we have this, create form, solid form, go to 3D. Okay, it's going under this one, so we can always select it, drag it more to the right. So your base, if you cannot find it, try to snap it to level 1. Height, let's do 1200. Okay, my base moved, so I'm just gonna snap it again, and then the top part is the one that I'm gonna set to 1200. We have this. We can do the same thing, so maybe yeah, let's create a new mask. So finish this masking inside, in place mask, pick this one. Let's do this, and then let's set our work plane to here. Okay, so 180 by 180 as we said. Right, we have this, pick the line, create form, solid form. Drag it this side, maybe same 1002. Right, so we have this. Now let's create these metal brackets. Okay, if we go to our south elevation, so south, we will create architecture, component, model in place, and then find generic models. Okay, let's give it a simple name for now. Let's make a few reference line. So reference line, pick a plane. Right, let's pick this plane. Okay, I'm sorry, pick line. Okay, so pick this, maybe. Yeah, maybe make this. Let's say 80. Okay, make this one 80 as well. So we have two reference line here, 80, 80. Create. Let's do a sweep again. Sweep, let's do pick path. So we want to pick our reference line that we had. So we have these two lines. Click finish. Edit profile. Okay, it says reference plane is slightly off axis, which is not a problem. So for this one, you will need to go to level 1. This one is more simple, right, than any of what we've created yet. So let's just make a rectangle for this one. Okay, so a rectangle for this one. Maybe 10 by 5. Okay, the line is slightly off as you can see, which is not a problem. So if you click finish, go to your 3D, take a look. We have this metal plate, right? And then again, you can have the holes to have it, bolted or anything. So for this one, let's make a copy. Okay, copy, we can pick this and then we will place it. Let's check this again. Right, it looks okay, we can just finish it. Then you have these metal brackets that we can also displace. So if you go to AD, right, so for this one we haven't displaced it yet, so we can always displace it. Right, so we can displace these. Okay, if you want to align them, you can just go to this. Right, so we have this, click home again. We want to displace this one, so pick this, move it down. Move it down. Okay. And then you will do the same for your bolts. Right, so home. Pick your bolt and then displace it. Okay. So you have these three elements. Let's double check. okay, this one might need a bit more displacement, so I'm going to move it a bit to the right and a bit higher. Okay, so we have this. So it looks like, it's still aligned. And then we will add in our displacement paths. Okay, for all of them. Right, so they look like they are displaced. Same for this. Pick this, displace. We're gonna move it up. We will move this down. Oops. Okay, displace tool. Lower this, and then these brackets also we can displace them to the right. Don't forget to add in the screws for this one like we did for this. Okay, they're not here, but for these we can add. So we have this. Okay. Yeah, the line is not showing too much, so doesn't matter until you understand what is really happening. We can always like fake a line on this, so let's try to do that. Let's fake that line here. So to do that we have to reset it. I'm going to edit. Let's set pick line first, set the plane to this, and then let's do pick this line. Okay, we cannot pick it, so it was 180, so we will just pick line, offset 180, pick this, should be 180, drag this line to this spot, change it to is a reference line and is not visible, and then you can finish it. Go to your default 3D and we will displace this again. So drag this up and then add the paths to it. Okay. This one we can have one more line here that makes it like this. Okay. So these are the lines. So whenever you need to fake a line, you just add in that extra line, make it a reference and make it invisible. So you have this, change it to thicker lines so they look a bit nicer. Okay, I'm going to change one setting for my one, so I'm going to make it medium lines here. If medium lines don't show well, you can always use wide lines so they look a bit nicer. Right, and then next week I'll show you how to place this on the sheets. Another simple joint that we can make, perhaps using the normal tools, right? This is just something a bit different. So another complex joint that we can make is just go to the south elevation, mass against site, in place mass, right? So you have this. Let's make pick a plane, right? Just leave it at pick a plane. Just pick the old one, is fine. Let's make this at 100, maybe 100. Let's say 420. And then here I'm going to cut this at 50 because it was at 100. So let's say half. And then here 100 again. Okay. So we have something like this. Select it, go to 3D, we have this, create form, solid form, right? Then make this 100. We have something like this. I can just finish it, pick it, go to level 1. Okay, if you take a look at it, it's something like this. So now we want to make another bit that connects to it, right? Let's make it a bit thicker also. I feel it's a bit too thin, it won't look nice. So maybe here you want to create a dimension for it. Let's say we will put it at 140. Okay. So it looks a bit nicer. So on our floor plan this time, or in our 3D, we can go to massing and site, in place mass, any name. Let's start drawing. Okay, this is east, right? So you open your east elevation first. Go to your 3D, set your work plane. We want to set it to, let's say this, right? So this plane. So if we go to east, right? I think it's this one. Okay, I think it should be this one. So let's draw. Okay, pick a plane again. It's gonna ask me. Okay, pick a plane. Let me pick this. Let me make that second shape. That's like this. Okay, so make sure you close it. Go back to your 3D. So now we have the other one. Select it, create form, solid form. If you want, you can just snap it like this. Right, we might have to make this one a bit thicker. Okay, so I think this was 120 if I'm not mistaken. 140. So let's make this 140 as well. Okay, so go to your floor plan, make this at 140. Make sure you're picking the whole face, not the edge. So this whole face, if you go to your level 1, then here you can make it 140. Right, we finish it first. Let me change something. Okay, I can pick this. I could drag. Okay, it's working as a whole thing. So this one, let's edit in place. Select the face, drag this until it comes here. Okay, we want it looking, quite uniform. So yeah, let's move this one. I'm not sure why it keeps doing this. Okay, so you have this for now, right? So you have two pieces, one here, and then we will have one more that's coming in a bit. Okay, so the top part is this one, and then if we edit this and then pick line, okay, it's asking to draw on what. Let's try to draw on here. Let's see what happens. I'm going to make a cross first, so I know where my center is going to be, and then maybe make this one. Okay, pick lines, offset this maybe to 90. Okay, 90 is way too much, so let's try 40. Okay, 40 looks decent. So let's do a 40. Right, you'll have a set of lines, you just have to trim them. Just make sure you keep only this small square inside. We can delete this cross. Okay, you can just check what's happening. So we have this, and then we want to create a void form. So void, we will align it to the base. Right, let me try something. Okay, come up. Okay, so let's just make that void for now, and then I'm gonna finish it. I want to create that dowel first. Okay, let's create the dowel before. Oh, we can just use the offset that we used earlier. So we just pick this one, isolate it. Right, edit in place. Go to the top view. Now pick lines. Okay, set work plane. We want to work on this plane. Right, offset. I think it was 40, if I remember. 40, 40, 40, and then I lost 40. Trim the lines. Okay, take a look at it in 3D. Okay, it looks okay. Create form, void form. Now we have this, cut it all the way through and then finish it. Right, so you have this one and then this one. Right, so this one we're gonna make one more, it's like a three-way joint. So instead of two elements joining, this time there'll be three elements joining. Should be quite easy to do. Let's make the base first. Let's make the base. So massing inside, in place mass. Right, let's go to snap this thing at the end. Right, set the plane. We want to draw at the base, and then we want to pick lines. So pick this, this, and this. You have your square, create form, solid form. If you go to 3D, let's make it a bit taller, maybe 350 for this one. Right, and then let's make another shape on top of it. So pick lines again. Let's pick this, and then and this. Okay, so you should have like a small square on top here. Create form, solid form. This time we want to pull it all the way up here. We can assign a material to it. Right, so it will be something like this. Right. Let me assign the materials for my one. I'm going to join these two parts. Okay, so this and this, join it, and then change the material here. Okay, my one was wood. Yep. So this, and then finish. Same for this. I'm just gonna type it here. Finish, select this, edit, select this, and then I'm going to pick wood. Finish. So now we have this three-way joint, and then we can displace it as usual. So this will go top, this will go bottom. So you have something like this. Okay, don't displace it too much, right? If not, it doesn't look too nice. So maybe I'm going to bring it back a bit. So we have this three-way joint, and then we can, as usual, we can always make our lines. So this, and this, and the back one. Okay, you have one somewhere here, and then one at the back there. Okay. These ones we don't need because they don't connect to anything, so I think these should be enough already. Right, so it should look like this. Okay, now it's up to you to make a few complex joints. Right, so you see how many more joints you want to make. I suggest make like 2 or 3 more, but don't make simple ones. Try to make complex one. Go online, find a few joints, and try to make them on your own. Okay, so for the submission, you have 2 more weeks. Next week, I'm going to show you how to place each one on a different sheet, and then make them look nice. What you can do is you can go to graphic display. You can change your style here, and then you can put show edges, you can put smooth lines through anti-aliasing, and then the silhouette means the outermost lines. I've changed mine to medium lines. If I change them to wide lines, you can see the outlines become thicker. It looks nicer. That's my view. So if you don't want to make them wide or anything, it's up to you, but just try to make them look nice. And then you can turn on coarse shadows, show ambient shadows, and for lighting here you can play around with your shadows. So if I put this up to 50, right, and then press apply, you can see the shadows become darker, but I don't like too dark shadows, so I'm just gonna leave mine at 20 looks okay. Right, and then for your material, you can always change your material the hatching. So if I reset this just to show you, oops, cancel, select it, reset, pick this, edit in place. I'm using the same material for everything, so you can always, change the surface pattern to have that hatching. So if I pick surface pattern, you can see foreground, right? I can pick hatching for it. So I'm using wood, so you can pick wood, and then you can change the color of the hatching. So I'm using a brown one, right? So you can use the pattern for it, so it'll look nice. And then the background I'm using white, so that's why it has brown lines on white background. So if you look at this, if I cancel it, okay, brown lines over this one. And then for my lines, to make them red, what I did is I right click the line, override graphics in view by category, and then here you can pick your type of line that you want. Okay, once you do that, you can change the line weight here, and then you can press apply. Okay, you can change your color to any line you want. So if you want maybe a green lines, and they'll become green, right? So this is how next week I'll show you how to place them on the sheet, but you need to try and make 3 joints on your own that are quite complex. You can make a mortise and tenon joint, something that comes to mind. Maybe you want to make, some other joints, maybe the double corner. Right, the double corner seems interesting. Yeah, I'm sure you'll figure it out. So you have to make 3 more joints on your own. Don't make simple joints. Try to make complex one. I had modeled a few, like maybe this one. You can see it's a bit transparent, so it looks different on how it connects. So this big part, right, it fits onto this purple one, and then this inner part fits inside this inner thing, right? So maybe something like this, right? I have something like this. Okay, just find like Japanese wood joinery, things like that. You'll get complex joints, and then try to model them using whatever skills you've learned so far. But yeah, this is how you can do things. You can even use the sweep, right? It's all up to you. Okay guys, thank you and good luck.